This generation that's born here in our prairies here in the fall, they don't stay with us. They have to make their way to where their great-great-great-grandmothers went it over a year ago. And that's 1,500 miles south of here. So on those wings, they're going to try and make that flight. To try and understand this migration and this mystery, they came up with this tagging research project. And those of you who are standing here, you can see those glistening little white tags on their wings. Don't worry, that's not going to inhibit them. They had an aerodynamic scientist study them and how much could they weigh and where could you put them. But each of them is carrying a particular tag number. And what we do with them then is we release them. And on all their journeys between here and Mexico, other researchers are finding them how fast, how far, how many. The scary part is how many, 1/10 as many are wintering over in Mexico this past winter as there were 10 years ago. So lots of reasons there and lots of reasons that we can change by the lessons that are here today. But the thing that connects this really well to our celebration this year with the remembrance is, until 1976, nobody in the scientific field knew where these monarchs went. And when I was a kid in 1976, there was no Discovery Channel or Animal Planet. So I used to read National Geographic inside out. And on the cover, August of 1976, there's a picture of a woman surrounded by trees, and the leaves on those trees are solid monarchs. And a scientist had unraveled where they go. They have found a place then that was 300 square miles in Mexico, and it's the Central Volcanic Mountain Range. It's the only place in the world that they can survive. And so this generation, they have to go there. The people of Mexico said, well, why didn't you just ask us? We knew for hundreds of thousands, we knew for thousands of years they came. Anybody here speak Spanish? Know how to say Day of the Dead?
El Día de los Muertos.
Say that again, brother.
El Día de los Muertos.
Isn't it beautiful when somebody can roll that R, huh? But in that tradition, their celebration is not here in a circle in the arena. It's in their graveyards. And their celebrations there are the returning of the souls of their ancestors. And guess who carries their ancestors' souls? These monarchs. So some of you are standing here that need to do this. I'd sure invite you in a moment. I'm going to get into that clothes bin, and I'm going to hand out monarchs. And you need to just grab them by their forewings between your thumb and your finger. We'll have to share them by clans. We have one for every 18 years that this celebration has taken place. I ask you each to hold them until we've dished them out to everybody. And then in Spanish, I can get this one. How do you say goodbye, friend? Adios, amigo. They don't tell you at the University of Kansas when you release your monarchs to say adios, amigos. That's all science. I tell people I'm not here to educate your head. I'm here to touch your heart. So all those students of mine in the prairies, they always say adios, amigos, but then it gets even more personal. Then guess what you have to do? You have to give, yeah, who said that? Somebody knows, yeah. You have to give them a kiss and say goodbye, my relation. And then we will say 1, 2, 3, be free. And we'll toss them all up into the air. And it was like 6 years into this of me tagging with students before I ever got a certificate back that says, hey, Chris, one of the monarchs, and the first one ever was from right here at Kuehn. One of the monarchs you held in your hand at Kuehn Conservation was refound by this scientist in a particular part of that refuge in Mexico. So this is our invitation for you to rewild this place. Usually you get to witness us releasing a raptor back into the wilds. Kay, her husband's very sick and she couldn't be here, and I said, huh? So I grabbed 2 volunteers this afternoon and I said, I got a volunteer job for you. And half an hour later I said, may you always live such a good life that every volunteer job you ever get is taking a net, going to the prairie and catching monarchs. And they had a wonderful time. So we don't have enough for everybody, so if you're in a clan, share one. I'll give them to you. You can look at them if you want to try and open their wings up. If on their lower wings they have 2 black spots on the lower wings, they are males. And those 2 black spots are doing nothing up here. They will fly from here all the way to Mexico and not use them. They'll live November, December, January, February, March, and then the males turn on those spots. And do you remember what they do? They release a scent into the air, and the female's antennas pick up that pheromone, and they look at that male and say, that guy's smoking hot. And they mate. The males will drop dead in Mexico, and the females begin the journey back. They won't make it. They'll make it to Texas. Their daughters and sons will make it to Missouri, and usually the end of April, first part of May, I will pick up some fourth grader swinger around over my head on the first viewing of that granddaughter or grandson that's come back and started that circle. Realize every generation other than this one, they live 2 weeks as adults. These guys will be alive how long? Till next March. If you do the math, that would be the equivalent of me being able to stand here in front of you and say, I'm 400 years old. So sometimes people say to me, it's just a bug. Why are you worried about them? Who cares? I say, that's Ponce de Leon you're looking at. Somehow that bug knows how to turn off its aging clock, and they lived the equivalent of us being 400. Those of you who are elders here in the circle, who wants to open that jigsaw puzzle and come to understand that? But to me, they're a symbol, not only of this wildness, but of the hope that we have here that the Prairie Awakening brings us every year, that we can awaken this place, that there is a future, that these young ones, when they're as old as I am, will still be out here sharing this mystery, this migration. So enough said. I'll get there, and I'm going to set it over here on the table so it's easier for me to start getting them out. I'm going to dish out miracles to you. Share them with a clan. Hold them with your finger and thumb across the forewings. You can look at your tag number, but if any of these make it to Mexico, it'll be front page of our newsletter next spring. Prairie Awakening Monarch makes it to Mexico. And then if that happens, then all of you go out and play lotto the next night, because we're really lucky, right? Eh? So, dead on. Talk about a miracle. We got a world where these guys can't fake being monarchs when they're larvae, but if you can look like bird poop, is a bird ever going to eat you? Whenever you grow up, you say, oh, now I'm going to look like this. So,
No, I bite.
off you go, my friend. Now these guys, where's my buddy here? This guy, me and you together, right?
Adios.
Adios, amigos. Will you give him a kiss? No, you won't kiss him? Like this.
Here, Dad.
Yeah, and some of you, it's your relatives, your brothers, your sons.
How about a scream?
Huh? Yeah. Give them a kiss. Kiss them all. Wish them well. 1, 2, 3. Be free.
Adios. Hasta luego.
Yeah.
How's that for crazy cool? Oh, that one's going to need some help so they can carry it over the